You can be young without money, but you can't be old without it. It's a quote by Tennessee Williams, famous American playwright and screenwriter. And I actually agree with this quote, because while being young, you can set a foundation for your financial life, for your future. And here's 7 money habits that I learned in my 20s that can help you achieve this. And number 1 on my list would be the most basic thing, but the most important, is spend less than what you actually make. Let's take, for example, 2 people. One is making 2,000 and the other one making 10,000. This person saves 500 bucks a month, and this person spends all of his money on vacations and cars. Which one do you think will get ahead in life faster, the first one or the second one? Well, the first one, who makes less money but he manages his budget way better, he will be able to make more money in the future. But if he keep his expenses lower than what he makes, he will be able to save a lot of money. But the other person who spends all his money, he may get a higher paying job, but in the future his habits will keep him poor all the time, because he will be making 15 grand a month and he will be spending 15 grand a month. And living without savings is gonna lead you to a second thing I learned in my life, that you gotta have some cash reserves. You may have a job or business or side hustle that brings you money, but whenever something happens, you got laid off, or your business income doesn't match to your expenses, you gotta use reserves. And if you don't have them, it sucks. You have a lot of stress, you're trying to quickly find a job or some kind of income, and when you have a family, you cannot afford that. If you are single, you can downgrade, you can rent a room with your friend or something like that, but as you get older, you're gonna have family, kids, responsibilities, mortgages. Personally, I like to keep 3 to 6 months in cash reserves for my upcoming expenses that I know I need to cover in case my income drops or completely disappear. And here's money habit number 3 that I want to cover, is to buy your car in cash. The average used car payment in 2023 is $569. See, when you take out a loan on a car, you pay interest. You pay higher price for car that you actually cannot afford. And all of that eating all of your budget on a monthly basis for another 60 months. So by spending more on a car that you cannot really afford, you take out a loan for this, you're also affecting your debt to income ratio. Debt to income ratio is your percentage of your monthly debt divided by your monthly income. Let's say you have $1,000 in car payment a month and you have a $4,000 job. That brings you to 25% debt to income ratio. And if you want to buy a house, you'll be left with $1,000 a month approximately budget for a new house. If you will get rid of that $1,000 payment, you'll have $2,000 a month budget for your house. That brings me to money habit number 4, is to buy personal residence, personal house that you live in. You can use loan like FHA that allows you to buy a house with as little as 3.5% on a down payment. And that's one of the mistakes I made in 2018 when I bought my first house. I put down 20% down payment and I was left almost with no reserves. And I was doing my YouTube thing, and in a year or so, my YouTube income went down and I was not able to make payments, so I had to sell the house. But if I would put a 3% down payment, I would have more payment on a monthly basis, but I would have a lot of reserves in case I need to do a new YouTube channel or find another job or rent out the house. I will have those 3 to 6 months in reserves that I talked about previously. And my mistake was I didn't rent out the house. I sell my house. I made a little bit of profit, but since then, since I sold it in 2018, the housing market appreciated like crazy. I would have like 200,000 in equity in my house. I could rent out the house for like $1,000 monthly profit. So in my personal opinion, if you decided to put all of the money in your down payment, maybe you wanna put down a little less and have some kind of cash in reserves to cover your emergency. Money habit number 5 that made me almost $500,000 in a couple of years is to invest in yourself. See, when I lost my income in 2018 with my YouTube channels and I sold my house, I bought a course from a guy who was teaching how to start Facebook pages. I invest $100 that made me almost $500,000 in the next 2 years with those knowledge just to start. Also, one of the important things with investing is to invest with what you really understand. For example, my niche was making YouTube videos. When that thing crashed for me, I invest money into a Facebook course that was teaching how to make Facebook videos. So for me personally, it worked out great. My $100 investment gives me infinite return. And tip number 6 that I like to use the most is to use credit cards. I use credit cards like this that I use in my business to pay for expenses that I need on a daily basis. I cover my monthly bill every month just so I know I don't overspend the money that I have in my bank account. But I use those credit cards with cashbacks, points, and sign-up bonuses to get free hotels whenever I decided to go with my wife on a little vacation, on a weekend getaway. So in the last 5 years, I don't remember when I actually spent money on the hotels. And money habit number 7 is real estate related. So you bought your first house and you have one room available. Maybe you have some friend that you feel comfortable renting out the room to him. You can rent this room out for $500 per month to your friend. He will be able to live in a nice house with you and you'll be able to make $500 more per month. And pretty cool feature with mortgages and your house that you actually can buy another house in the next year and rent out the original house to cover your expenses. You move into another house and you have 2 houses that pays down your loan amount every single month. Your house appreciates in value and you can repeat this process up to 10 times. Isn't that cool? And I want to give you my bonus money habit is to buy quality products versus cheap products. See, when you have, let's say, vacuum for $70, it can break in the next 2 years. Whenever you use it, it doesn't clean your house that much as more expensive one, and you'll have to buy another vacuum in the next 3 years, for example. But if you buy a vacuum for $300 and it will keep your house more cleaner with less time involved and it will work for another 5 to 10 years without breaking, which one would you pick? Yes, it's more expensive, but it will give you a cleaner house, you will spend less time, and you'll actually think twice before you buy a product and make better research than just buying random product that you just wanna buy and you don't actually maybe need it.